A 74-year-old man in Thunder Bay, Ontario lives alone in the house he has owned for 31 years. His wife passed 4 years ago. He receives old age security and a modest Canada pension plan payment. His combined monthly income is $1,640. His property tax, hydro bill, heating costs, and groceries consume nearly all of it. He has not taken a vacation since 2019. He buys generic brands. He keeps the thermostat at 17 degrees through January to save on heating. His income qualifies him for the Guaranteed Income Supplement, a federal benefit specifically designed for low-income seniors receiving OAS. The maximum monthly GIS for a single senior in 2024 is $1,065. He has never applied for it. Not because he looked into it and decided against it. Because in 4 years of receiving OAS payments, not one letter from Service Canada, not one communication from the CRA, not one person at his bank, not one outreach worker, not one government representative of any kind has ever told him it exists. He is heating his house to 17 degrees in January while the federal government holds $1,065 per month, $12,780 per year. That belongs to him and has belonged to him since the month his OAS began. He is not unusual. Service Canada's own data shows that tens of thousands of eligible Canadian seniors are not receiving the GIS at any given time. The money is allocated. The eligibility criteria are clear. The application is straightforward. And year after year, the federal government holds billions of dollars in unclaimed senior benefits, while the people entitled to those benefits sit in cold houses. That is not an administrative oversight. That is the system. To understand why the senior benefit system fails so many of the people it was designed to help, you need to understand what it was built to accomplish. Canada's senior income support system was constructed in layers across the post-war decades. The Old Age Security Pension, OAS, was introduced in 1952 as a universal flat-rate benefit for Canadians 65 and older. The Canada Pension Plan followed in 1965 as a contributory earnings-related pension. And the Guaranteed Income Supplement, the GIS, was introduced in 1967 specifically to address the reality that OAS alone was not sufficient to keep the lowest income seniors out of poverty. The design intent was clear. OAS provides a universal foundation. CPP provides income proportional to career earnings. The GIS fills the gap for seniors whose OAS and CPP together fall below a defined income threshold, ensuring that no Canadian senior falls into poverty simply because their career earnings were low, their CPP contributions were limited, or they spent years outside the paid workforce. For decades, the framework held adequately. Not perfectly, but adequately. GIS uptake among eligible seniors was imperfect, but reasonable. Provincial governments built their own supplementary programs that added additional layers of support beneath the federal floor. Then two things happened simultaneously that eroded the system's reach without changing its entitlements. The senior population became more diverse and more complex. Immigration patterns through the 1980s and 1990s brought large numbers of Canadians who arrived later in life, seniors who had not contributed to CPP for a full career, with limited familiarity with Canadian government programs, who may have faced language barriers in accessing information about their entitlements, and who were disproportionately likely to be in the low-income range where GIS matters most. These seniors became the demographic most likely to be eligible for GIS and least likely to be receiving it, and the outreach collapsed. Service Canada's GIS enrollment process requires an application. It is not automatic in all cases. Seniors who do not apply do not receive it. Service Canada does not proactively contact all seniors who appear eligible. The gap between eligibility and enrollment persists year after year because the system was designed around an application model rather than an automatic enrollment model, and because nobody in the system has a financial incentive to close that gap. Today I am going to close it for everyone watching this video. The Guaranteed Income Supplement is the single most financially significant unclaimed senior benefit in Canada. It is also the one most consistently missed by eligible seniors. Let me give you the specific numbers. The GIS is a monthly non-taxable federal benefit. The word non-taxable is important. Unlike OAS and CPP, the GIS is not included in your taxable income. It does not affect your tax owing. It does not reduce other income-tested benefits. It is clean cash added to your monthly income with no tax consequence. The maximum monthly GIS amounts for 2024 are as follows. For a single senior, $1,065.47 per month. For a senior whose spouse or common law partner does not receive OAS, $1,065.47. For a senior whose spouse receives OAS, $641.35 each. For a senior whose spouse or common law partner receives OAS, $641.35 each. For a senior whose spouse or common law partner receives the allowance, $641.35. At the maximum rate, the GIS provides a single senior with $12,785 per year. For a senior receiving OAS of approximately $8,400 per year and CPP of $6,000 per year, the GIS more than doubles their federal income support. The GIS phases out as income rises. The phase-out rate is 50 cents of GIS for every dollar of non-OAS income above zero. This means the GIS is partially available to seniors with moderate income from various sources. A single senior with CPP income of $8,000 per year still qualifies for a partial GIS, approximately $661 per month at 2024 rates. A senior with $12,000 in annual non-OAS income qualifies for approximately $465 per month. It extends meaningfully into the moderate income range. Who qualifies? You must be 65 or older, a Canadian resident, and receiving OAS. And your income, excluding OAS, must be below the annual threshold, approximately $21,624 for single seniors in 2024. Investment income, rental income, RRSP withdrawals, pension income, and CPP all count toward this threshold. The OAS payment itself does not count. The GIS itself does not count. How do you apply? The GIS application is filed with Service Canada, either online through my Service Canada account, by paper application, or in person at a Service Canada office. Once approved, the GIS is renewed automatically. You do not need to reapply annually if you continue filing your return. If you do not file a return, your GIS may be interrupted, which is one of the most common reasons eligible seniors experience GIS payment gaps. If you or a senior you know is receiving OAS and has annual non-OAS income below $21,624 and is not receiving the GIS, the application needs to happen today, not this week. Today, every month without GIS is $1,065 that cannot be recovered retroactively. This section exists because the retroactive GIS provision is one of the most important and least publicized features of the entire senior benefit system. You can apply for retroactive GIS payments. If a senior was eligible for the GIS but did not receive it, they can apply for retroactive GIS payments going back up to 11 months from the date their application is approved. That is up to $11,715 in retroactive payments available. The 11-month retroactive window is the standard provision. However, in cases where Service Canada failed to notify an eligible senior of their entitlement, there is a further provision. The Minister of Seniors has the discretionary authority to approve retroactive GIS payments beyond the standard window. Seniors or their families who believe that a failure by Service Canada contributed to a gap can file a formal request for extended retroactive consideration. These requests are not guaranteed, but they are a documented avenue for recovering benefits. If you are helping an elderly parent navigate their benefits and discover they have been eligible for years without receiving it, document the timeline carefully. When did their OAS begin? Was GIS mentioned? That documentation supports a formal request. Beyond the GIS, there are two additional programs. The allowance is a monthly federal benefit paid to the low-income spouse of a GIS recipient for partners who are between 60 and 64 years of age. The maximum monthly allowance in 2024 is $1,381.37, a substantial benefit for a household where one partner is 65 or older receiving OAS and GIS, and the other is between 60 and 64. The allowance for the survivor is paid to low-income Canadians between 60 and 64 whose spouse or common law partner has died. The maximum monthly survivor's allowance in 2024 is $1,647.34. Both programs cease when the recipient turns 65 and becomes eligible for OAS and GIS in their own right. Both programs require application through Service Canada. Both programs are income tested. The allowance for the survivor is one of the most consistently unclaimed senior benefits in Canada. A widow or widower between 60 and 64 living alone on limited income after the death of a spouse may be entitled to $1,647 per month. Every province in Canada has built senior income supplement programs that operate on top of the federal OAS and GIS system. These provincial supplements are funded provincially, administered provincially, and require separate applications. In Ontario, the Guaranteed Annual Income System, GAINS, provides a monthly provincial top-up. In 2024, the maximum gains benefit is $166 per month, approximately $1,992 per year in additional provincial income on top of federal GIS. In British Columbia, the Seniors Supplement provides a monthly payment to low-income BC seniors receiving GIS, up to $99.30 per month in 2024, approximately $1,191 annually. It is applied for separately. In Alberta, the Alberta Seniors Benefit provides monthly income support to low-income Alberta seniors, up to $421 per month for a single senior in 2024, in addition to federal OAS and GIS. It has its own application process. In Saskatchewan, SED and the Saskatchewan Income Support Program provide additional support. In Manitoba, the 55-plus program assists residents 55 and older who are not yet receiving OAS. In New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island, provincial senior benefit programs provide additional income support that stacks on top of the federal system. Provincial programs provide meaningful support. Quebec operates a fully integrated senior income support system through Retrate Quebec, the Quebec Pension Authority, that administers both the Quebec Pension Plan equivalent and provincial senior supplements through a single provincial system. Quebec seniors should contact Retrate Quebec directly. The critical pattern across every province is the same. Provincial senior supplements exist. They provide meaningful additional monthly income, and they are consistently unclaimed because nobody in the system has connected the dots for them. Beyond the monthly income programs, every province in Canada has annual property tax relief and utility rebate programs for seniors. These are cost reduction programs that reduce the two largest non-food expenses. In Ontario, the Senior Homeowners Property Tax Grant provides up to $500 annually. The grant is claimed on the Ontario Provincial Tax Return through the ONBEN application. Seniors not completing this form miss out on both. The Ontario Trillium Benefit combines energy and property tax credits. For a low-income senior renting in Ontario, the annual OTB can exceed $1,200. For a senior who owns their home, it is significant. In British Columbia, the homeowner grant provides a reduction of up to $570 on annual property taxes for homeowners 65 and older. It must be claimed annually. The BC Safer program provides monthly rental assistance. In Alberta, the Alberta Seniors Benefit Program covers supplementary health benefits, prescription drug coverage, dental, optical, and ambulance services. These can save eligible seniors thousands annually. Federal utility programs also apply. The Canada Greener Homes Grant and the Low-Income Energy Assistance Program, LEAP, provide emergency bill payment assistance and energy efficiency upgrades. For a low-income senior in Ontario who is a homeowner, the combined value of all applicable programs can represent a total annual benefit package of $18,000 to $20,000. Most are receiving only a fraction. Beyond the monthly benefit programs, the Canadian tax system contains several non-refundable federal credits specifically for seniors that reduce annual tax owing and that are consistently underclaimed. The age amount is a federal non-refundable credit available to Canadians 65 and older. The base age amount for 2024 is $8,790. The credit is calculated at 15% of this amount, generating a federal tax reduction of up to $1,319 annually. The age amount can be transferred to a spouse or common law partner if the senior cannot use the full amount against their own tax owing. This can reduce the household's federal tax bill meaningfully. The pension income amount provides a federal credit on the first $2,000 of eligible pension income. The credit is 15% of $2,000, a $300 annual federal tax reduction. This amount can also be transferred to a spouse. Pension income splitting allows seniors to allocate up to 50% of eligible pension income to a spouse. For couples where one partner has significantly higher pension income, this can reduce the combined tax bill. The medical expense tax credit is particularly valuable for seniors, who typically have higher medical expenses than younger Canadians. Eligible expenses include prescription medications, dental work, vision care, hearing aids, mobility devices, home modifications for accessibility, and attendant care costs. For seniors receiving home care, whether publicly funded or privately arranged, attendant care expenses are eligible medical expenses. The METC generates a 15% federal credit on eligible expenses above the threshold. For seniors with significant health-related costs, claiming the full scope of eligible medical expenses can meaningfully increase the annual credit. Whether you are a senior who has never reviewed your full benefit entitlement, a family member helping an elderly parent navigate the system, or someone who recognizes the profile of an eligible senior in their community, here is exactly what you need to do. For seniors receiving OAS who are not receiving GIS, apply today. Call 1-800-277-9914 or apply online. The application takes approximately 30 minutes. Every month without GIS that passes is a month that cannot be fully recovered. For seniors between 60 and 64 who have lost a spouse, apply for the allowance for the survivor immediately. Confirmation of eligibility based on income is the most urgent conversation in this video. Confirm provincial supplement enrollment. Once federal GIS is approved, contact your provincial government to confirm enrollment. In BC, it requires separate enrollment. Do not assume enrollment is automatic. Review your provincial property tax and utility programs. In Ontario, confirm the on-bin form is complete on your provincial return. It claims the Trillium benefit and the Senior Homeowners Property Tax Grant. In BC, apply for the homeowner grant annually through your municipal tax office and contact BC Housing about safer eligibility if you are renting. Confirm every document is signed and submitted. Ensure annual tax filing continues. GIS renewal is tied to annual tax filing. Even with low or no income, filing is required to maintain GIS continuity. Contact a community tax clinic if assistance is needed. Connect the senior in your life with a community tax clinic. The CFIP operates free clinics across Canada. These clinics identify missed credits. A single visit can surface thousands of dollars in unclaimed benefits. Have the conversation. The man in Thunder Bay does not know to ask for the GIS because nobody in his life knows enough to bring it up. The most important action is not a form, it is a conversation. This video is that connection. Share this video with a parent, a grandparent, or anyone who helps them with paperwork. The money is there. It has always been there. Share the knowledge. The man in Thunder Bay is doing all of this while the government holds $1,065 per month that belongs to him. He has been eligible since the month his OAS began. He has been living on less than half of what he is entitled to. The GIS was designed specifically for him. The provincial gains top-up was designed for him. The Ontario Trillium benefit was designed for him. Nobody connected the dots. You now know how to connect them. The GIS application is a phone call. The provincial supplement is one additional call. The heat can go up to 21 degrees. The money is there. It has always been there. Start today